So now we're going to discuss a little bit on the various steps to actually customizing apparel. So essentially you're going to create a design on any kind of a vector software, keeping in mind that when working with cuttables, you're going to want to flip or mirror the image because essentially you cut on the glue. Now, I know that Sign Warehouse has a very nice tutorial for designing on Vinyl Express LXI software that you can take a look at on their website.
And the biggest challenge for new people in this industry is not learning how to use the heat press film or how to use the heat press. It's learning how to use the software, how to design your graphics, how to get what you want out of that product. We have a great product called Vinyl Express LXI. It's a great vector design program, and because of John's work on our website, we have some brilliant, very easy to follow video tutorials that show you how to use LXI more quickly so you can shorten that learning curve.
Yeah, I hope you check it out. Go to signwarehouse.com. At the very top of the screen, you can just click Tech Support, and that'll get you to the right site.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Now, the second step is, of course, plotting the graphic with your vinyl cutter. Now, most of our films can be easily cut with a standard 45-degree blade. But some of our films, such as our Bling Bling Glitter and our Flock, we do recommend cutting with a 60-degree blade. They are slightly thicker, so a 45-degree blade, if it's new and sharp, should work perfectly fine. But to avoid any kind of issues, we do recommend a 60-degree blade for those types of films. Now, the fun part of working with vinyls, of course, is weeding the vinyl, essentially pulling away any excess film from the design or the cut itself.
So much fun.
So much fun. Now, films such as our glitter, our Bling Bling Glitter, and our Reflex, a tip is that you're going to want to weed that with a little bit more care, simply because the cut marks are oftentimes not as visible. Now, this is where Chemica's 30-plus years of experience in the vinyl and the heat transfer vinyl industry comes into play. We've really developed our products to become very easy to work with for the end user. So just a little bit of a tip, again, glitters in our Reflex product, just take the weeding a little bit slower, just to so that you're not preventing any kind of peeling or anything like that.
And speaking of weeding, Anthony, if you're dealing with some of these bling or glitter films like Galaxy or Bling, sometimes it's actually hard to see where you've cut it. One real good tip we've learned is that if you sprinkle a little bit of baby powder over the film after you've cut it, it seeps into those weed lines and you can see it much more clearly, and it's much easier to weed it correctly.
That's a fantastic tip. Fantastic. Okay, so after we've weeded the design off of the carrier, the next step is to simply align the design onto the garment, and prior to placing the garment under the press, you're going to want to use a Teflon or some sort of a silicone coated craft paper. We'll touch on this next point a little bit, but a Teflon liner tends to add a semi-gloss finish to our printable products, whereas a silicone paper tends to add more of a flat or a matte finish to the actual design. But we'll talk a little bit about that later when we discuss our printable products. Now, when it comes to actually pressing, you're going to set your heat press to the recommended time and temperature, and of course the pressure that you can find on not only Chemica US's website, but also on signwarehouse.com. You're going to want to go ahead and put the garment firmly on the press plate, making sure that there's no wrinkles or anything like that that can cause any kind of disruption in the actual vinyl material. Line it up, and of course apply the appropriate temperature, press time, and pressure to the actual vinyl itself. Okay, now comes the fun part. It's simply peeling away the carrier sheet from the garment. This can be done hot, warm, or cold, depending on the specification of the product being used. A very important tip, though, when it comes to layering. When you do layer our products, you want to first do the base layer, and you want to press it at a minimal time, not the maximum recommended time.
Now, if I may, why not? What's the big deal?
Well, mainly it's a matter of efficiency. If you're applying 3 layers of film on a shirt, you don't need to apply all 3 with the whole time range of 15 seconds. All you need to do on that first layer is just press it long enough to set the adhesive, and then you can apply your second layer and do the same thing, and then you apply your third or final layer. Then you want to do the full range of 15 or 20 seconds or whatever the recommendation is, and that will seal all 3 of them at the same time. So you don't really need to do all those.
Exactly. So that way everything comes together and you're essentially not overcooking the base layer.
Sure.
And I know that that you guys there at Sign Warehouse have a great handout when it comes to layering that our end users can always refer to.
We actually do have the Chemica layering guide in our handouts. You'll see that in your GoToWebinar interface. It's available to download as a PDF. It's a complete guide from Chemica about how to layer or overlap all of their products that they sell, what you can use with it, what are the films, what works, what doesn't, and how to launder it. So it's a really great resource to have.